What's up, everybody? Hey, Tom Laird here, host of the Advice from a Call Center Geek podcast and founder of Expedia. For exceptional contact center outsourcing, trust Expedia. We're fully AI-driven, as all of you know, and can handle voice, email, chat, and all of your digital channels. Our 600-seat USA contact center is expert in healthcare, financial services, insurance, tech support, retail, and more. Experts on the NICE CX1 platform, we ensure seamless customer experiences. DM me or visit expediausa.com for more.
This is Advice from a Call Center Geek, a weekly podcast with a focus on all things call center. We'll cover it all from call center operations, hiring, culture, technology, and education. We're here to give you actionable items to improve the quality of yours and your customers' experience. This is an evolving industry with creative minds and ambitious people like this guy. Not only is his passion call center operations, but he's our host. He's the CEO of Expedia Interaction Marketing Group and the call center geek himself, Tom Laird.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Advice from a Call Center Geek, the call center and contact center podcast. We try to give you some actionable items to take back into your contact center, improve the overall quality, improve the agent experience, hopefully improve your overall customer experience and now technology as well. My name is Tom Laird. I'm the CEO of Expedia Interaction Marketing and Auto QA. Expedia is a 400 or 500 seat contact center outsourcer located here in the States. We're a BPO, and Auto QA is an AI platform that we have built to fully automate contact center QA scoring. How's everybody doing? I hope the new year's kind of kicked you guys off well. It's been a little bit crazy here. We do a lot of work with a lot of the 211s across the country, and the 211s are kind of like the non-emergency emergency lines for a lot of states. So, the California wildfires are kind of near and dear to, our thoughts and prayers. And we now have agents that have been kind of tasked to help with that, which has been again, I don't want to say pretty cool. I don't know what the right word for that is, but, it's awesome that, the 211s kind of look to us, as kind of that first go for support. So again, really, really proud to be able to have, a force that can kind of help with some of these natural disasters that happen, especially, as it relates to kind of California. So it's been a little bit of a testament, I think, to the empathy and kind of the overall awesomeness of our agents to be able to kind of, take what we've done with COVID with 211s and kind of move it to kind of some of these disasters. But it's what's made this a little bit of a busy time. But I want to talk to you today about all the BS that's out there, right? And I do a couple of these. I think I kind of just did one really just a couple of weeks ago on the outsourcing side. But there's so much just non-truth, misinformation. I hate that word, but misinformation, people scamming, people trying to get into people's heads, a lot of FOMO that's happening as it comes to AI and how it relates to CX. I did my largest, it was a top 10 most viewed post that I've ever done on LinkedIn, talking about the word that everyone is using that I think is complete garbage, and it is hyper-personalization. Now, if you go, and hopefully some of you guys can do this right now, go on to Claude or go on to ChatGPT and type 5 predictions for customer service in 2025. The number one thing that will pop up is hyper-personalization, whatever that is, and everyone is using that, right? It's crazy, right? Everyone from giant outsourcers to contact center technology companies, all using, I think they're using ChatGPT to do all of their content. And so as a contact center professional, and those of you who listen to this, a lot of you who are following me are that, you're trying to figure out what's real. What do we need to do in 2025? What is the thing that we're seeing? Where is the industry really moving? And you're getting lied to. You're getting lied to by so many people, right? The problem is we are being driven, and Chris Crosby, who I love, right? And Chris and I, a couple of years ago, talked about this as it related to kind of the beginning of AI. And I think it's only gotten worse to where we are seeing vendors drive the message, right? Technology vendors are the ones that are telling you what you need and what is happening in the industry. And the people like myself, like a lot of contact center professionals, don't have the platform or don't have the following or don't have the voice, I guess, or just don't do it to say, whoa, that's not what we're seeing. I'm not seeing anything that a lot of these contact center technology providers are providing. And they're making, I think people make really poor decisions when it comes to what they should be buying, what they should be purchasing, how they should be setting things up. So I want to talk today again about what I see as real. What is the roadmap or what is the path that people should be taking in 2025 that is realistic, right? It's not going out and spending God knows how much money on some generative chatbot from my chatbot is amazing.ai company, right? That stuff is where people are making huge mistakes because they're not ready for it. And a lot of times we don't need it, right? AI is something that everyone is talking about that everybody needs. But, again, I give the example of a credit union, right? We deal with a lot of financial services at Expedia and our outsourcer, right? A lot of credit unions. We do a lot of core integrations and have really cool. And again, we use nice CX1 and know that platform inside and out and have been able to build amazing self-service models, right? To where you can, again, check your payment and make a loan payment and do all of these things within the IVR, which is still using natural voice. Like they've paid for that. It is working unbelievably well. Customers are happy with it. What is the big rush then to turn that into some type of AI-ish platform that maybe they can give a couple more answers to? So not everybody needs this. It's moving towards that way. We all have to be prepared for it. We can't put our head in the sand. And I'm not saying that it's a nothing burger, right? It's still going to be something that all of us are going to have to kind of work through as we kind of go through this. But, this rush that you have to get to there now or you're falling behind is not true, right? It's not true. I have said this before, and I think it's almost been cemented in me now from what I'm seeing is, AI, when it comes to that first touch point, customer facing AI is really for large enterprises now, right? Why is that? Number one, right? They have the traffic to get the ROI for it, right? Because this thing's not cheap. Everybody thinks AI and it's just snap your fingers and you don't pay anything, right? That's insane, right? It's extremely expensive in 2025 to hire a third party if you can't do this yourself, or if you can do it yourself, to have this group of developers to be able to kind of do this for you and prompt for this and integrate with this, right? It's extremely expensive. So the enterprise have the volume to they can figure out that ROI, right? Because the volume is so massive. They have the data for it. They have the infrastructure for it, right? Which most SMBs, most even smaller enterprises are not prepared for this, are not ready for it. We'll talk about, again, the tools. Again, Nate just kind of threw a comment here on LinkedIn, but specific verticals are so important. A BPO needs to discover what they're good at, look to how to improve it, and find an AI tool that adds efficiency. And I agree. And we're going to get into that, right? Like those are some of the mature, if we can say that, the mature AI tools, today are kind of the agent tools, I don't want to say back office, but not customer facing, right? And we'll kind of talk that through, but I want to kind of get into some of this stuff, right? I hammered hyper-personalization on LinkedIn, last week. And I think all of these new phrases and terms are total garbage. They are terms that are created by marketing people, picked up by AI, then regurgitated through AI on what is actually happening in the industry. And I don't even know what hyper-personalization is, right? I'm still trying to figure out what's right below it, like premium personalization, and then you have regular personalization. Like, what is that, right? And again, I'm still asking for examples, and I'm not really getting anything. So again, that's all garbage, right? It's all garbage, right? So don't even look at, if you see hyper personalization in something that you're reading, I would just be like, all right, next. All right, we're moving on. All right, so here's some of the things, and this is in no particular order. This is kind of my, I guess, brain vomit of all the things that I have been thinking about, for 2025, what I have been seeing, right? In really no particular order. And again, if you have any questions, any comments, let me know. All right, so again, look at your self-service, right? Let's just start there, because if you're a contact center manager, you're a head of customer support, you're getting probably beat up, especially if you're an internal center, by your CEO or by some C-level that, hey, we have to get on this bandwagon. All of our customers are going to want this. All of our competitors are moving to it, right? And the first thing you need to do is, do you have self-service? Like, I think self-service is a vastly important tool, right? It's part of a full omni-channel kind of way of dealing with things. Is it really good, right? And then what benefits can you get out of a generative or some type of AI, using an LLM or using an internal process to use AI for that, right? Are you going to get a huge difference, right? Can you just tweak what you have for right now from a self-service side? So that's kind of the deal. Please understand that this is extremely expensive today. Setup fees are crazy expensive. Your minimums for these, for these large third-party, AI/analytics, because most of the analytics companies have now turned into AI companies, right? They're extremely expensive. And even the per minute usage fees that they're doing are crazy. There's platform fees, there's setup fees. So again, be very leery about really what you want to do. I'll be honest, I think the CCAS guys have the best deal right now, right? So, whether that is, Five9 or Genesis or CX1 or Zoom or any of these guys, I think if you're going to change a platform, or if you're going to look at anything, look at your CCAS provider if you chose a good one, right? Because their tools are going to be, I think, at least the most cost effective, and they're already integrated into your platform, right? So again, I think that's a if you're going to do this, especially from a first touch point, kind of customer facing, you look at your CCAS provider, look at the tools that they have before you go out for third parties, because the third party guys they're going to integrate and they're going to be fine. And some of them are going to be really cool, but your ROI is not going to be there, especially if you're SMB or even if you're a smaller enterprise. It's not there. This is where, and again, selfishly, I don't mean to sell, but this is where the BPOs, I think, have a huge advantage, right? If you want to go and you want to do all of this kind of really cool AI stuff, the BPOs, if you choose the right BPO, like our BPO here at Expedia, like I know there's a lot of really forward-thinking outsourcers out there, and it just doesn't have to be onshore, right? It can be onshore, nearshore, offshore. We have all this stuff, right? We're using it all the time, right? The learning curve is not going to be there. I think, everybody talks about this is the end of the BPO. I think that this is the time where BPOs can really thrive, because they can be that AI partner for so many customers that don't really know what they're doing, right? So again, talk to a BPO, talk to a consultant. I think that you're going to see that, again, like us, like we're using all the tools, right? In real life with customers right now, understand what is working, what is not working, what you should have, what you shouldn't have, what you should pay for, what you shouldn't pay for, right? And I think that the BPOs and the outsourcers can really, again, if they have changed their focus from just, supplying agents and seats to being a technology partner that does that as well, you can find some really good insights, and you can find some really good efficiencies and cost savings that you don't have to pay when you're doing it all yourself, right? Again, I think the BPO is kind of there. I think 2025, right, from a prediction standpoint, will be the year of the knowledge management system, the KMS, right? People have been talking about this for a while, and now I think action will start to happen. Everybody wants to move to an AI platform, and most people, the most they have from a data set, especially if you're SMB, is maybe a robust FAQ, right? We need to make sure that we're starting to build data, and we're getting it to the point where we have a knowledge management system, not just uploaded with all of our data, but we have a process then to keep things updated. right? To take out old data, to take out bad data, to put in new things, not having 400 hands into this thing, right? So I see it both ways. Like in today's market, I see either one, you either don't have a KMS, you have a very basic KMS, or you have a KMS, a knowledge management system, but you have no process to update things. Everybody's putting things in. No one's pruning, taking things out, and it becomes this giant monstrosity. I think 2025, this will be the year where people start to really get serious about that, because they're seeing that is one of the major holdbacks, right? The infrastructure standpoint of integrations and the infrastructure standpoint of the AI from a KMS standpoint is really, really, really important. The other thing that I think is real and that I'm starting to see companies do is panic on AI, not sure what the heck to do, but they have to do something, right? So they'll either do one of two things. Number one, either they'll make a mistake and they'll purchase something that they're still scratching their head on. I don't know what we're doing with. It doesn't give them all the functionality. It's ticking off customers. I'm seeing that. And the other thing is companies say, we're not ready for that. And they admit that, right? We have to build out our integrations. We have to build out our KMS. So what do? We look at the tools that we have and try to make them awesome. So I've seen like a technology renaissance on CCaaS platforms of utilization of tools that people weren't utilizing, right? Everybody has, or a lot of organizations now have an analytics platform that they're using 5% of, 10% of, right? To really dig into that, find out all the efficiencies and the things that you can get out of that, right? Looking at things like, again, you've heard me talk about workforce intelligence, right? All the main CCaaS players have a tool, right, that can kind of predict wait times and move agents in and out of skills to protect service levels, based on certain specific business rules, right? Looking at that, looking at these advanced routing techniques that will bridge you to AI, right? So being able to route off data, right? Let's just say you're integrated into a Salesforce instance and calls come in, and we can look at that data and find out, like, let's say we're, for us, we have a customer that has, hundreds and hundreds of different financial planners, right? So when a call comes in, we have to find out what financial planner is that actual customer, right? And who's the client. Send it to the agent. Make sure we have a screen pop that says, this is, Janie Smith's office. How can I help you? Those kind of things, right? It's really not that hard, but it gets your mind thinking, okay, there's an integration here now between my telephony and my data. This will start to build kind of that AI integration kind of repertoire that you're going to start to need, that kind of skill set that you're going to start to have. I also see customers moving finally and starting to get into the very easy instant ROI tools of the kind of the back office or the agent assistance type tools, right? So these are, number one, agent assist. Agent assist still takes a little bit of work, still takes some knowledge, but it is a tool that you can find really quick wins with, and it is not that crazy expensive. And especially if you're looking to move to a generative or to an AI assistant model, that's an unbelievably great bridge to get you to that point of understanding, bringing proper data to someone at the right time, right? Right now it's your agent. So if you make a mistake, a lot of times the agent can correct that, right? It's not customer facing, but it will also help the agent and assist the agent, right? You've heard me talk ad nauseum about auto QA, right? To be able to fully automate your quality assurance using AI at scale is a massive, massive savings, right? To not have to have any type of QA manager scoring calls, and to really be able to find out not only agent behaviors at scale, but looking at analytic data, asking questions of data, right? That costs literally, that's ROI month one. Month one, if you're doing it and you have the right tool. And that's something that customers are, I think, starting to really look at now in 2025, whether it be from a CCaaS, whether it be a third party like we have with auto. Things like auto summarization. It's probably the first thing to ever come out, using AI to just summarize calls. How many of you guys have agents that just take terrible notes, right? You try to develop a system, you try to develop a kind of a a way for them to kind of put things into the CRM very easily, but they still screw it up or they don't do it. So, auto summarization is an amazing way to use AI, right, to cut down on if you have long after call work, long wrap times, because agents are doing a lot of that work. Boom, that goes in. That's an instant savings. So I want to see if I can. Let me see if I can bring this up. Let's see if I can bring this up to the screen here. Present slides and PDFs. Your computer. Let's see here. No. Maybe I can't. Stop Canvas settings. Present. Here, I'm going to share my screen and bring this up. This is, and I'm going to post this. But I think this is kind of what I've seen be working. There we go. All right, let me put this on this screen. And let me share this. Present, share screen. Okay, here we go. All right, hopefully you can kind of see this. Let me flip it around for my LinkedIn buddies. Okay. So this is kind of what I have seen as what has been working from a roadmap standpoint for AI for customers that we have. And this is also what I'm seeing work the best without our customers, just in talking to people and people who are trying to be really kind of methodical with this thing and trying to think this through the right way. So the first thing, and this is kind of like the Maslow hierarchy, right? But the first thing that I think should be done, or we've seen this to help customers is to look at your AI infrastructure, right? If your infrastructure stinks, your AI is going to stink, right? So again, looking at your KMS, looking at your procedures for KMS, looking at your system integrations, what API connectivity do you have? What security are you willing to kind of go through using LLMs and using large language models? Like having had that all scoped out, I think is really, really, really important. And, is something that really needs to happen before you really do anything. The next thing is I think, we start to, and again, this is not like I know I have this as kind of a hierarchy, but, for some people, they're going to move, between steps. But, just overall, looking at your advanced analytics, I think that's a good next step, right? To start to think kind of an AI world, right? Looking at customer intent, because if you start to look at customer intent, you're going to start to know what self-service I'm going to be able to utilize in the future, right? Looking at predictive analytics, right? Looking at what your customers are actually saying. Right? Can you glean any insights into what's going to help you from a self-service or even from an agent quality standpoint, right? But it's using the system, it's using technology, right, from a sentiment standpoint to really almost take away again some of the tools that you've had, right? If you are really good at analytics and you're really good at sentiment analysis, I don't think that you need NPS and CSAT surveys. You've heard me talk about this a lot. I've done multiple podcasts on it. Right. So I think that's important. And that's a really cool next step for those of you who are just trying to kind of get involved, and see where we are with AI. Right. The next step, right, once you kind of have these two things kind of in order, I think is the agent level AI, which we just talked about. Right. Looking at tools like auto QA, looking at auto summarization, looking at agent assist, right? Right. These are more basic integrations. These aren't that difficult. Right. I would say, again, if you look at the enterprise AI infrastructure, that's pretty hard. Right. It's something that you're going to have to really have a team to really kind of work through. Nobody wants to talk about that. They just say, give me an FAQ. We'll figure it all out for you. And again, I'm not saying that this is impossible. This is crazy hard. But it has to be exacting, and you have to make sure that you're getting it right. Right. So again, that's the three. If you have in 2025, right, if you have your infrastructure built out, you have your integrations you feel good about, you've developed your KMS, you have some type of advanced analytics where you're really looking at customer data, you're looking at agent behaviors, and then you start to implement some of these agent level AI tools like auto QA, auto summarization, and agent assist. I guarantee you're ahead of 95% of every single organization out there, just with those three things. Right? We're not even talking about, bots and and virtual agents and all that yet, right? Okay, so I think once you get through there, you start to think about self-service. You start to think about, what do we need to do to make it better, right? Now that we built out this KMS, can we start to implement some of this knowledge into what we already have, right? Looking at intelligent FAQs, looking at really just more automated flows within our self-service. Are we at a point where we think we have everything built out where we can fully automate things? And if you do, then let's start to talk about customer-facing AI. You've gone through kind of your security apparatus with your team. Everyone feels comfortable about what can be said, what can't be said, what you can use from a self-service model. And then we can start to implement some of these LLMs and start to put our kind of toe into kind of either a visual or a audio kind of bot, right? And start to look at some of these more advanced self-service solutions. I will tell you, though, I believe in 2025, maybe 5 to 10% of companies can really find value in the customer-facing AI compared to what they would have from a regular self-service model, right? If your self-service is you feel on point, I don't think that there's going to be that much that you're going to find from a customer-facing AI platform than what you have now. Now, for some of these, again, the bigger you are, right, I think the hierarchy works with you too, right? The bigger you are, the quicker I think you could move to this stuff to find the ROI from it. But remember, you need to have either the know-how to do it internally, or you're going to pay through the nose externally with a third party, at least in 2025. And I don't, again, know if you're going to get all the tools that you really, really want. So again, I'll post this if you guys find any value in that. Let me flip this back around. My TikTok buddies. Okay. So that's kind of how I see, again, where 2025 is. And for our customers, if they want to go to customer facing AI, we have the tools, we can do it tomorrow. Right. But we want to make sure that we're talking to them about what will really make it successful. Right. What levels are they at? Right. What do they need to do to really make sure that things are good? And I think it's really difficult if you're just talking to tech guys, if you're talking to sales guys who don't have your best output, right? To kind of really, they're just trying to make that sale, make you kind of have a little bit of FOMO, and then move on. I think that's kind of what I'm seeing as well. Let me stop the screen here. Okay. All right. So if you want something weird that's a little bit more kind of out there, I have been wrong. And admittedly, I have been totally wrong on the metaverse. I thought we would be much farther along. I think maybe AI kind of stopped some of that, and we'll start to see the kind of the joining of these two forces again. But, and I know that, kind of the Apple and the Meta and the goggles that they have come out haven't been great. They've been really, really expensive as well. So there hasn't been a, kind of this natural progression. But I think you're going to start to see with, some of the glasses that are going to be coming out in 2025, the beginning, at the end of 2025, the beginning of virtual reality and augmented reality in service and then in sales as well, right? I think, I've kind of been calling for this for a while. And last year I kind of, I guess, swallowed it and didn't really talk too much about it. But, I think with what I am seeing and what people are talking about, and what I'm starting to see in some RFPs as well, is that, some of this technology will start to kind of creep from a testing standpoint into some of our, customer support kind of roles. So something that's kind of a little bit out there. I wanted to at least throw one of those kind of things. Is everything I have, again, it's kind of boring, right? AI overall in CX, for where we are right now and what you should be doing and where the industry's at, it's kind of boring, right? We are at an infrastructure build portion, right? We're at the bottom of this thing. And I think it's going to get really cool, right? But so many SMBs, small enterprises, we're not ready. And we need to take this next year to start to get ready, right? So that we can start to employ some of these really cool things. The last thing that I'm going to say is, the reason that I don't think you're falling behind is that this is not like just a slope, right? Or steps that you go up with, and you get a tool, then you get something cooler, then you get something cooler, right? You can wait, right? You can be here, build, and then jump to here with some tool that's going to come out in a year from now, or in 6 to 8 months from now. You don't have to keep going with technology today, right? Start to build your stuff out, and then you can catch up really quick, and maybe even quicker, because you have not invested in maybe some of the technologies that are okay, right? You went right to the kind of the end after things have been kind of hashed out a little bit, and you're getting something that is going to work and the ROI is going to be there. So, this falling behind thing, I think, is garbage. Now, if you're not working on it and you're not working towards it, then you probably are falling behind. But as long as you're starting to kind of think through this stuff, starting to build out, starting to play with some of the basic tools, learning about it, you're going to be okay, right? You're going to be okay. No matter what any AI, my chatbot is great.ai sales guy is going to tell you and going to freak you out with, or even what your CCAST, all these tools that they're coming out with are all AI driven, right? It's going to be okay. Right. So again, if anybody would like to talk to me, I'm an open book. If you'd like to talk to me about where you guys are at, just DM me here on LinkedIn. Again, if you're looking for any outsourcing, right, from any type of, especially onshore, if you want to use these tools but not sure, talk to me there. I can, at least if we can't help you, I can guide you somewhere. More than happy to kind of help with that. And again, super proud and super excited about where Auto QA, OTTO QA is going. We are building a customer base that is pretty awesome. Really big names, really small names, right? Everyone from doing 500 forms a month to customers that are doing, 1,000 forms a day, right? So it's been an unbelievable growth story. And, we'd love to be able to talk to some of you as well if you're interested in kind of using one of those tools that we talked about from an Auto QA standpoint. But other than that, I hope everybody's new year kind of keeps it rolling, and I'll talk to everybody soon.